وصل يا رب على محمد وآله الطاهرين.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you all for joining us for another program. Alhamdulillah, the IC is very excited and thankful that you all are able to join us almost every night. 30, 40, 50 people each night is a fantastic program. My name is Reza Baghi. I'll be the host for this session. Brother Mustafa Kulaftuzun will be the chat monitor throughout the session. So if you have any questions directed to our speakers, please feel free to enter them into the chat, and then at the end of the session, we will address them during the Q&A portion. So without further ado, I'd like to get started. Tonight we are so excited to welcome Brother Abdolhamid Dalili to present on storytelling in the modern era. As you all know, social media and information transfer is such a highly regarded topic right now, and it's on everybody's mind. How do we transfer information? How do we convey a message? And these types of topics are particularly important. As Muslims, we are trying to make the most impact on our communities, on the society that we live. And being able to convey a certain message in a way that is understandable and appreciative by folks around the societies is extremely important. So we're very happy that Brother Abdolhamid is here to join us. A little bit about Brother Abdolhamid. He is currently the creative lead at Sponix Tech. He has a degree from the George Washington University in digital media. He has traveled all across the world working with big brand and big brand news agencies, journalists, and content developers, working on spreading Islamic message and creative content. And alhamdulillah, I'm very excited to have him speak. So without further ado, Brother Abdolhamid, if you want to take it away.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So I hope the mic is working correctly.
Sounds good.
Thank you all for attending this digital majlis, and it's a blessing for myself to join you all and share a few minutes of my experience and all of what I've been through for the past decade. First of all, I hope you all are doing well, and may Allah accept all your prayers and all the du'as and the fastings that you and your family are doing during these, I would say, tough days, which is a little bit, we have never experienced it before, but again, it's related to our topic. It has a story to it, and it's part of the digital era, it's part of the digital age, and we're all in the same boat. I would say it's something that we can all gain from it, we can all learn from it, and we can turn it into something productive, so in the future people can learn from it. If you're in this sort of circumstance, what you could do as of I'm just at home, so what can I do? I'm with my family, so what should I do? So with that said, I'll make sure the intro of the talk, it's a little bit of my experience and my background and how everything started. It's going to be around like less than 20 minutes, I would say, and then we'll have like 10 minutes, 15 minutes of Q&A, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. And if there's any extra questions or any follow-up that anyone has, I'll be more than happy to answer by email, and the email will be provided in the page tonight. So it was around like 16 years ago where I started my career. And at that time, there was no Instagram, there was no Twitter, there was no Snapchat. There wasn't this sort of, the crowd information, I would say, pioneers and applications around the world. So it was a very, I would say, silent time. And just spending time at university, going to classes, learning softwares. And that was the beginning of my career, which I really wanted to focus on improving my skills as of the techniques that I could use. And at that time for design, everyone's aware of it. There's Adobe and there's Photoshop, which is part of it. There's Illustrator, there's Premiere, and there's all other applications. But I, as of someone who wanted to seek a career in digital media, and at that time I didn't know what does it sound like, because I was right at the beginning of things. And I was interested because I knew it's going to really have a huge future, like as of um, the jobs and corporations, everyone's going to feel that sort of transformation. And that was something that I was sure it's going to happen, but I didn't know. And that was something I faced it through the career that I had, and in school, during taking the courses and some classes that I had, it was something that I would say during live classes I had to make decisions. And what I mean by that, it was the technologies that were, everything was changing. Like, I can easily share this with you, that the softwares that I studied at that time, right now there's probably ×3 of those softwares. And for someone that wants to step in this career, it's something really, really, like, you need to have a mentor. You need to have someone that that could really talk with you and see your skills, elevate your skills, and go through what you're seeking. What do you want to become? And that was one of the main questions that during my graduations, one of my instructors actually really helped me to make a decision. Do you want to be a web designer? Do you want to be a motion designer? What do you want to be? So this is part of the digital age that we are. And as you all are familiar, the digital age is like, it's growing rapidly. It's growing very, very fast. And sometimes when I'm in some of the workshops that I have, or I'm working with some companies, I see even some designers, they get frustrated. They're like, where should I start from? What software should I use? Oh my God, I want to catch up with this software. I want to go and study this. But once they graduate or they finish that course, there's something new in the industry. But what is important to me is it's about the way we think about the message. Tonight's tonight's title, it was Storytelling in the Digital Age. And there was something hidden in this title. I didn't want to add it to the title. I did want it to make sure that we all actually take a few seconds actually and review the title again. Storytelling in the Digital Age. The word storytelling, there is something there that we could say it's easily the word message, and it's hidden in it. The message is something that we all see it through anything that inspires us, anything that we're actually engaged into it, any sort of communication. We are at the nights of Ramadan, the nights that it's been recommended to reflect, to think, to go through examples, to study the verses of Quran, the stories of Quran. And actually, there are two points that I wanted to touch base on from these. I wanted to highlight these two words from the Holy Quran for tonight's topic. And these two are actually the word, the keyword, بِلِسَانِ قَوْمِهِ, with the language of the people of that era, that time. And these two words are actually part of Surah Ibrahim alayhi salam, where the first word, بِلِسَانِ قَوْمِهِ, is actually they're saying the language of the time, that God has sent prophets which spoke the language of that time. But according to our scholars, there's always some sort of tafsir to this. There's always a tafsir, a new tafsir. We can't just say that the language of that time, it's just, you know, the mother language. It's not just the mother language, because we're seeing nowadays that the way the technologies are transferring information around the world, all of these information, they're creating this sort of united language. Everyone is sort of like going into this united language of, I want to send this message. I want to use social media. I want to use a platform to send a message. Either it's branding, either it's for a message that you want to engage people into anything like a story, a cartoon, a video. And you see this rapidly growing in all sort of platforms, getting it from the smartphone and seeing it on iPads. I would say in three main departments: the web department, the media department, and the, I would say, application, which is called digital department. So all of these, it's part of that language, which I wanted to refer in Surah Ibrahim, the keyword, بِلِسَانِ قَوْمِهِ. We are all living in a time that the language of this time We are all witnessing it. What is the language? And we are all part of it. Some of us are active with it. Some of us are, I would say, captives of it. And this was one word. The other word that I want to emphasize on from tonight is the word amthal. In Surah Ibrahim, وَضَرَبَ اللَّهُ الْأَمْثَالَ. And it says that Allah has basically given you examples. The word mathal in Quran, it has actually 5 sort of description as of tafsir, as of 5 meanings. The one that tonight we want to talk about, it's basically this word of example. Amthal is from the root word of masal. And the mathal is like, connecting it to our title, it's like the word, the message. What kind of message is being sent? And it says in the Holy Quran that Allah send you these amthal so that you yatazakkarun. It's a reminder for you. Or it's something that you yatafakkarun. You just take it into consideration. You think about it. So these 2 keywords are going to connect us to the topic of tonight. That I don't want to go into like some sort of just giving my personal experience and, you know, some great memories that I have from this decade of working in this field. But I wanted to basically still keep us, you know, as we all would go and attend in the masjid, we all had that, we all would keep that spirit alive. We all would go to the masjid with the intention of, okay, I'm going to go there, I'm going to spend time, and I'm going to do something that it's part of my, I would say it's part of my mission, my personal mission. We are all here, we're all human beings, we're all Muslims, we're all fasting. Some of us wanted to do some sort of good deeds, some sort of khair. And for me, like looking at all of us, looking at the people that are attending in tonight's digital majlis, I would say we're still on the same page. We want to do something, but I want to make sure that the way we look at it, how are we keeping this chain of information, chain of spiritualities, chain of, we had all 124,000 prophets, we had the ma'sumin, we had the imams, we had our scholars, we had the ulama, we had the shuhada. Like if you look at this timeline, everything is still, it's going to continue. The message of this story is also going to continue. The message is going to keep up going. Like I look at through my career, like I started with a sort of creative department, part of a TV network in DC, and for me it was a really challenge, working day and night on some projects that, you know, you had to be you have to be ready right away. You need to have like, okay, there's breaking news and there's something that they always ask people. Like I would work with few departments like producers, editorials, journalists, with anchors, correspondents. So there was a huge teamwork there. The message is news, and news, you have all sort of, you know, reports. For me, I was looking at things from, you know, our perspective. We always wanted to have a voice in news. We always wanted to have, you know, some sort of, you know, can we defend about this? We wanted to defend about some sort of topic that we never hear it in news. So things happened like that for me through my career. And I can bring up, for example, the story of Arba'in. The story of Arba'in was something that for me, it was something like, it was a challenge, because the things that I had to put together to present it as a pitch to the management, it wasn't always like, they would always say, if there's something human about humanity, and it's about human rights or something like that, they would take it under consideration. But you can't go just there and say, oh, we're going to talk about, you know, a certain amount of people like doing such and such. So that would be something that as of journalists, people always want to see, like what kind of report, like if it's a product or if it's, I don't know, a conference or some sort of festival, you know, it's bringing all sort of people together. So the story of Arba'in for me, after looking at all sort of angles of this story, and this was almost 7-8 years ago, if you just search Arba'in through CCTV America, you're going to see like a series, like the first year, the second year, the third year. It did happen. And for me, it was, at the beginning, it was a little bit of challenge, but I always ask myself, like, from this timeline of, you know, we're all part of this, we're going to be part of history. We're going to be all part of this mission. But what am I going to complete? Am I going to put the complete effort, or I'm just going to say it's impossible. You can't do that. It's not going to work. It has never worked here. These are the words that I would always say. There would be like the words that I never try to connect to. Like going back to some of the slogans in some brands, like Adidas says, impossible is nothing. So sometimes we have to keep some words that motivate us, inspire us in our mind, and we live with it. So we can do this. We can create a change. We can come up with explaining our religion, explaining our spirituality, explaining the words of Ma'sumin, but in a way that everyone can connect to it. I would say the arts of creating that story, that is a big challenge for all of us. Because some of us are good in script writing, some of us are good in, drawing, but this is right now, I would say it's a big package that we all have to work together. Similar like to tonight's majlis. Like I can't just come here and just turn on Zoom and hit the microphone and start talking without all the brothers that behind scene, they're doing all the effort, they're putting the effort, they're doing all the hard work. This majlis wouldn't happen. So similar to this, coming up with a story that you can engage people of the world. Like when I was in the newsroom and I felt like they did say like, okay, what is it about it? What do you want to emphasize on it? So there was an article on Huffington Post. I sort of put that aside. I went through Iraq's Arabain Twitter page. I went through all the images there and I tried to like bring this beautiful picture of Arabain that we see. This beautiful picture of Arabain that we have this huge sort of like banquet of free food. And everyone probably in this majlis tonight, you guys know the how much they emphasize. It was like for kilometers you could see that there's a line of prayer, there's like free food, there's like free space for sleeping, and there's like all kind of services, which this keyword of being free, that was something that it really had an effect on the management, on the editorial management when they wanted to make a decision. But towards the end of it, like one of the producers came back to me and was like, are you sure it's free food? Because this is something, again, living in the West, everyone here knows, you never see that much of that kind of culture in the society. There are charities, there are people, but it's not like part of the whole culture of the country. But we know that back in the holy cities of Iran, of Iraq, like having mokibs, having places that they serve food, that is part of the culture. Even in the masjid in IC, like when they're serving free food, when there's iftar, but there are people donating and then they serve the food. That is a very important sort of message for people that they're coming. Like it sort of inspires them. It sort of like creates this curiosity that why are people doing this? Why are they not like charging people or something? So I would say this is part of that message that was really helpful, and it really connected me to sort of put this pitch together and then be able to sort of get that report done. And you can see the full report on YouTube. It's a really nice story. Like it was one of those moments that I felt like, we can do things like this, but we always have to like study it from different angles, different perspectives. So 10 years of experience working as a creative designer, working as an art director, working as a creative director, and then being able to sort of travel, going around the globe, working in different networks. I see that everyone in the world, like as of the departments that I've worked with, everyone is busy with the technologies nowadays. And for me, what is important is, again, always asking myself as a Muslim, what is the mission that I have? What can I do wherever I go as of a Muslim? And tonight's sort of like message that I had for all of us, I wanted to make sure that wherever we are, like whatever we're doing, like let's put that sort of, let's complete the efforts that we're all putting. Sometimes it's sort of like, it's not completely done. It's not accomplished. Like we all have some sort of skills. We're living in an era that, like I would easily say, like being in a creative team, working as a creative director, you always need like at least 5 to 10 people. It's not something that you can easily do by yourself. So for me, having this ability to having a network of friends. Someone's good in videography, someone's good in photography, someone's good in English literature, someone's good online, someone's active on social media. All of this really, really helps me to sort of like think that, oh, we need to just tie everything together and then come up with, I don't know, it's a product, if it's a YouTube channel, if it's a social media channel, and then keep it up, be consistent. So when I see the examples out there, like even from some of our close friends, like sometimes I see everyone's like sort of like posting something or like repeating some sort of image that some other person sent. I just picked few examples for tonight, and at this moment I just want to pull up this this slide that I had, and there's few images. Can everyone see it? Are we okay? I think everyone's gonna see this right now. Okay, so we are all familiar. I'm actually showing this through a software. So whenever we hear the word, can I just, okay, I think I have to, okay, yeah. I think everyone can see this right now. Correct. We can't see it. All right, can you guys confirm? You're
Yes.
seeing it right now, yes?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So if you, like, going back to the newsroom, and it's the beginning of Ramadan, they always talk about it. They always talk about, oh, it's Ramadan, so designers or creative designers, we need a slideshow. We need to like sort of show Ramadan. And this is something that we all see it. It's a mosque. What I'm trying to do with these examples, I just want to show differences of storytelling. Like today, it's just for a little bit of highlighting things, but definitely this I would say, if it was a workshop, if we were all like behind our stations, we could have done it differently. But I'm just trying to like highlight some notes so we can all keep in mind and, you know, think about this for later on. So this is an image. It's a mosque, someone reciting Quran, and this is one of those sort of moments that everyone's like, oh, this is the holy month of Ramadan. But what I'm trying to do is, I want to see like how much the message of the story is powerful. Like the main question that I have is, who is this message for, and how much it's powerful? How much is that message strong? Like it can be visually strong. It can be by, you know, some sort of illustration or some sort of techniques, typography or something like that. But with this one, I just want to talk about the photography. So this is one image that we always see. The other one is this sort of image. Everyone's like sort of praying, and they're all, you know, the lines of prayer. It's something that everyone, they look at it right away, they're like, oh, it's Muslims. But again, how much stories we have in the holy month of Ramadan, how many prayers we have, how many du'as we have, how many, like, let's put ourselves responsible for this message. This is my point. I want all of us to ask ourselves, have we ever tried to like turn a dua maybe into something visually appealing, something that, you know, the world can connect to it? Is there a dua? Is there a way of like showing a dua into something visual? The other image that I have is this one. It's the holy shrine of Imam Rida and a sort of preparation of the iftar. And we see this kind of thing a lot. Again, it's more about food. It's more about just showing the sufra of iftar, the banquet of iftar, and then showing all of that spirit of, you know, everyone getting together. So this is this was some photography that I showed. I want to push it a little bit into the next sort of, I would say, method of telling a story. So this is another example. Again, is this a powerful message, or if it's a weak message, I'm not here to judge. Just as of using different approaches, like because we know what is the spirit of the holy month, and we're living in the West. So taking this back to the beginning that we said, we have to talk like that verse of Quran that we said from Surah Ibrahim, to the language of the era, to the language of the time. if everyone nowadays is going through, you know, all of these imagery, all of this sort of like posting a video or something, it's important for us to sort of tell the message. We have other things that have not been touched on. There's a lot of other du'as, there's a lot of other things that we've never seen some sort of visual for it. Or if we've seen, was it that powerful, or did we sort of try to send that message, you know, all around, you know, platforms, medias, try our best to sending it to someone that, you know, maybe they're in a newsroom, maybe they're somewhere that they could, echo that or show it on air or something like that. So this is another one. The next photo that I want to show, I would end my talk with this, and I'll just a second. All right, and here we go. So this again, this is I would say it's a really strong method for telling a story, and I'll just make sure it's going to be full screen right now so we could all have a close-up. We could all have. So at this moment, I would like to see everyone's comments on the chat room, Brother Mustafa. I hope you get some messages so that we could all read together. So I want everyone to sort of write for me what just one word, just the first word that comes to your mind. Write it for the group chat that we have. And this is, again, taking the message, turning it into something very, very powerful as a visual message. So we have a lot of people, if you can see, like I would zoom in a little bit, there are people in that sort of ground, in the prison ground. So a lot of people are, yeah, we have prison, we have death, we have, okay, old, I don't know what old means, but okay, hostage. Okay, so again, studying this visual, it tells us, all right, first look, to me, yes, it is a prison. It does look like a prison. All right, we got someone saying it's a phone. Phone is a prison. Okay, I think that'll be the title of this poster. So as you all know, we are all customers of Apple, I would say. And we know this sort of look and feel is the look and feel of an iPhone. So the designer, the one who wanted to put this into some sort of like inspirational, motivation, or curiosity design and visual, he took the idea of an iPhone. I don't know if everyone has seen the iPhone. Just make sure you just go around the prison, see the roof of it, and then you can definitely find out that iPhone. So again, the message is iPhone, and it's turning iPhone into a prison. And definitely they have that sort of, takeaway that, we're all captives of our phones. So this is a very, very, I would say, as someone like, working in this industry, this is a work that it's an A+ project. Like the message that this has, and then don't forget, this can turn into, a series of projects like this. This can be turned into a series of projects that, they have, like right now, what is missing here, and I'm going to actually highlight this in a second, is actually what should we title this? And this is actually what I meant a few minutes ago, that I said how much messages we have in the holy month of Ramadan. And how much messages do we have in our du'as of this month? That we've always read it, we've always just listened to it, and then that's it. We didn't do any sort of assignment for it. We didn't do anything. We didn't take it and transfer it into a new language that others can gain the spirit. Others can learn from the spirit. And I'm just going to quickly add that layer. I hope all of you can see it, and I'll zoom back. Inshallah, those who know the meaning of this Arabic word, which is part of the du'as we say after the Salat al-Maghrib during the holy month, it's part of the du'as that we say, "O Allah, free all captives." So the designer in this project, he actually did use this dua to build this project. And this is one way of telling a story for the time that you are at, the digital age. If you're living in a time that it's a really busy time, but as a Muslim, you want to be, you know, someone that you could really, you can be part of that mission. You can really help others transfer the words of the Ahlul Bayt and give some sort of different look to it so that they can understand. Not everyone knows Arabic, not everyone is familiar with the du'as, with mafatih, but this is one approach. And I believe that all of us that we're in this majlis tonight, all of us that are, you know, we're living in this era, we are familiar that, you know, we are surrounded by this kind of messages. We're surrounded by some sort of just images that, images or mainly video, because the traffic, and this is one of the, I didn't want to get into statistics tonight, but at 2016, when we were working in the newsroom, there was some research done, which they said at 2019, like around 2016, the traffic of video on internet, on the web, was around 60-65%. And at that time, they said the traffic of video is going to increase all the way to 90% or a little bit more than 90%. And this, again, for those who are willing to do something, this is a reminder that, okay, things are changing. People 1,000 years ago, they would write things maybe on the wall. They would like crave it on the walls and caves and they would like write things on skin of animals. And then you just go through generation after generation, the first generation of paper, and then things start changing. At 1991, it was the moment that humans, they disconnected from looking at face to face, and things started switching to faces facing the media, facing your computer. 1991, if I'm not mistaken, through that research I was reading. So almost 20 something years ago. So what's going to happen in 30 years from now? So being aware of your time and knowing the language of that time, that is part of storytelling in the digital age. For me, I did not need to go through all the softwares and just, you know, gain software knowledge. For me, it was knowing what is important as of the ways of telling the story. And then later on, you can create departments. And what I mean by that is we all can get together. We all can be in teams. We all can be in groups. Imagine this project that you're just seeing right now. You just get one phrase of a dua, one message of the Ahlul Bayt, one message from a word of wisdom from our imams. You transfer that for another generation, another group, and you can decide who is that age, who is that generation for me, who is that, who's going to be the target audience, and what I want them to take away. Is it going to inspire them? Is it going to inform them? Or is it going to motivate them? These are all, you know, a little bit of highlights of this sort of experience that I had. And I wanted to make sure that all of us, at least, we have one homework. And let me just quickly, all right, I'll quickly just get back to, all right, stop share. All right, so I'll quickly finish up with this, that from all of us that we are here tonight, I do want each of you, like this is, it's not a homework. It's just going to be something like, imagine like doing something as of a hasanah for this month. From the spirit that you have for this month, with all of this issue of COVID-19, that you're locked at home, you're with family, it's the holy month of Ramadan. We need to gain spirituality in month, but we're not going to the masjid. We're staying at home. I want each of us, anyone from this group, just one photography. Those who know like graphics, they're welcome to do that. But I want all of us to take one moment, and you can like send it, email it to me like in the upcoming 20 days or towards the end of the month. But send me one image that you feel like that could be something like it can have a powerful message. This could be like, I want you to include, you know, family in it. I want you to include spirituality of the holy month of Ramadan, and then being together. Like, okay, we're trapped at home. I want you to keep all of those sort of keywords in mind. Give one image and try your best. Try to make it in a different way. Try to make it in a way that, you know, people can feel that awe moment, wow moment. Don't just send me like a picture of Sholazart. You know what I mean? So give me something that, you know, we could use it, and we can, inshallah, create a channel that we always sort of, you know, try to send new messages from the things that we've always been hearing. And inshallah, we can share this spirit with everyone in the world. Thank you all. If there's any questions, I know I went a little bit longer than my time, but I'll be more than happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Abdolhamid. This was inspirational. I think it's you know, there's a lot to be learned. I think, you know, about how we present information, how we you know, highlight the messages, and you know, being very keenly hyper aware on what is the message that we are presenting. So inshallah, I think a lot of folks can learn from that. So we have a few minutes for question and answers. Please feel free to send questions here. One question we did receive was, how can we excuse me, how can we best leverage social media to make the most impactful messages?
So it's really an important question for those who want to, you know, enter it. I would say knowing what you want to do there, because everyone is busy on social media, but you have to define for yourself what you want to do. Do you want to just, you know, open a channel and then have some followers, or what is your mission? Number one, knowing what is your mission. Two, who is your audience? Number three is just having a consistency and spreading your message. It can slowly be through an image, it can be slowly through video, but then all of that gets into this sort of like, okay, now I need to, like, you know, have quality videos. Now I want to have, like, not just a graphic designer building things, I want to have a creative videographer building things. So first two questions are the keywords, the like key questions, I would say. And after you have a solid answer to that, make sure that you start it and then you continue it, and then you slowly, gradually can, you know, start having more quality of work.
Well, thank you so much for that answer. Another question received was, you know, for a lot of especially younger people who are interested in, you know, storytelling, they have a message, they want to get it out there, whether it's about their religion or their passion, or just they enjoy creative design. What is the best starting point? Is, you know, how do you look for a mentor in the digital media world? What are the you know, things that you should be trying to go for starting points?
Starting point, I would say, I can meet them for some time, and I could evaluate what they're looking for. I can ask them some questions that I'll just talk about myself at this moment. It's always good to see someone that they've had like at least some years of experience, because they can evaluate your skill sets. Some people, they want to enter the, I don't know, design world or social media world, or getting active on, you know, videography and things like that. But first you need to see someone that they can tell you, what do you want to become? Do you want to be someone like that builds apps, designs apps, or someone that, you know, is doing videography for, you know, I don't know, like as a journalist or something like that? Or no, you want to be a film producer. And by asking few questions and doing some evaluations, I can sort of come up with that and then give them some sort of roadmap. Okay, you have three choices. These are my experience, what I've gained from, you know, studying at school. And I would give them some sort of idea of, you know, doing some case study, going to some open houses, seeing some instructors, teachers, and also going to some, you know, events, and seeing what's out there. Like, are they really interested in graphic design, or no, they're interested in maybe illustration? So that is important to know, like, what exactly you want, and a mentor can really help you for that.
Thank you for that. And again, if there are other questions, please feel free to write in the chat. The final question received was, you know, as a Muslim living in America, you know, not specifically within COVID-19, but as, you know, universally, what is, in your opinion, the single most important message that we need to be saying to the world and to ourselves? What is the message that at its core we need to be holding on to?
Um, I look at it from my own perspective of, my life experience, going to majalises, being with scholars, spending time with a lot of people, and, a lot of people that they're, great in tafsir, they're great in, their knowledge of, the wisdom of the words of Ahlul Bayt, and all these different categories. For me, like what I've personally gained, we all have to, we have to have the right teachers in each category. Because sometimes we just read one book and then we don't know how to translate that to someone else. So it's good to know, like, even scholars, you see, like, when we talk about some of our famous scholars, they have one teacher in akhlaq, one teacher in irfan, one teacher in tafsir al-Quran. So even the famous scholars, they have several teachers. First of all, ask ourselves, what do I want from Islam? Is Islam just, is it just iftar? Is it just the mafatih? Is it just the 5-day, like 5 times prayer per day? Or what is it exactly? Is it the Arba'in walk? Like, we first need to have a solid answer to, like, what is it, that the importance of this message. And then after that, having the right person to guide us. And we can turn that easily into, like, keywords, bullet points. Like, there are some scholars that I really, I would like to bring up their names, like Allama Jafari, Ayatollah Jawadi. You have all these scholars that they have worked with the Western countries. They have had they have had great articles published. Like, for me, like, there's a project we're doing, there's bullet points from Allama Jafari that he has, like, 53 reasons why humanity is going toward retardation. And that is the 53 keywords that he has. It's part of an article called A Study of History. So this whole article, I had this sort of discussion with some of my colleagues. They were like American colleagues. Some were from Latin America, some were American colleagues. And when they read it together, they're like, yeah, all of these 53, yeah, they're like, dude, that makes sense. So for us, it's first to gain it from the right people, from the ones that they have the wisdom, study it. But then we need to start reflect, as of, like, imagine like a project. Like, I would say, like, I look at it like a creative project. You need a think tank, you need to sit together, you need to brainstorm, you need to say, okay, what messages of this we want to highlight? And then start building it. Start transferring that into, I want to make a video and post it on YouTube. I want to make it like a post on Instagram. So have this consistency and spreading the message, and then just move on, just continue on it. Let's not just be like people that, oh, it's Ramadan, let's get excited and do something. No, like, the beauty of, and sorry if it's a little bit long, this is something I just want to finish up with. It's the beauty of all of this, storytelling, is we can decide, we can say for Ramadan, like, I know there were some groups of brothers, they said every birth or shahada of the imams, they would, like, come up with a short article related to that imam. And that's maybe a selection of a book of Shahid Mutahari or some other scholar. So for us, we need to ask ourselves, what do we want to do? Should we do like seasonal things? Do we want to do, like, no, one line per day thing? Or, some other ones that you guys know better than me on YouTube. Like, there's this brother, he's doing, like, since his graduation, he did 1-minute videos per day up until now. And now he's all over the world. He's spreading his own message. So we have all of these examples, but right now it's really about sitting down, thinking, and making that final decision.
I think that that's a very important point to note. I think, especially as younger individuals, the important key that we look for, the metric, is likes and views, right? And saying, oh, what can I do to get more likes? So
exactly.
Whether it's just more content versus quality content. So maybe not posting your message every day, maybe once a year, once a month, whatever it is, but the quality is very, very high.
Yeah.
We have one last question. I think we'll end on this. It says, can you give some examples of a company that uses social media to create an impact while making a profit, like social enterprises?
Social enterprises. Oh, to make profit. I mean, at the moment, I have to think about that. I can email that brother regarding his question. Yeah, at the moment, I don't have anything in mind.
I know that's a very specific
Yes,
question.
yes.
And for those who have joined us, Brother Abdolhamid is available for personal mentoring and mentoring for businesses and companies. If you're interested in speaking with him, please feel free to email him. We have listed his email in the chat, and I can list that one more time, so everybody has that. But if we don't have any other questions, I would really like to thank you all for joining the discussion tonight. And special thank you to Brother Abdolhamid. You bring a wealth of experience and a wealth of knowledge.
Thank you so much, Brother Reza.
Regarding social media and content development, and I think the end point of it's so much more important about what your message is and how you're presenting it than the fact that you are presenting a message. Simply having a program, simply creating a visual, creating a graphic for the sake of it is not necessarily the right thing. And there are different strategies we need to incorporate to present that message and refocus our priorities to the content development perspective.
Exactly.
So
thank you so much. Let's all send the salawat to Hazrat Fatima salamullah alayha, and inshallah we'll end the majlis. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم اللهم صل على فاطمة وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها بعدد ما حاط به علمك. التماس دعاء everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Inshallah, we will have another program tomorrow night with Sheikh Navid, and then the following night on Friday night with Brother Kazim. So, inshallah, we hope to see you there. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.